The Carpenters, a popular duo consisting of siblings Karen and Richard, achieved great success in the 70s with their smooth pop music. Unfortunately, Karen's life was cut short at the age of 32 due to a severe eating disorder. How could such a talented and successful star like Karen Carpenter tragically die from anorexia nervosa? Did her mother's clear favoritism towards her brother Richard play a role? Let's find out. Karen Ann Carpenter was born on March 2, 1950, in New Haven, Connecticut. Her parents were Agnes Ruhr and Harold Bertram Carpenter, who was born in China to missionary parents. Karen had an older brother named Richard, who began composing music at the age of 12 and became a piano prodigy. Their mother, Agnes, often praised Richard's musical abilities, which Karen admired. Agnes always showed favoritism towards Richard and overlooked her daughter's musical abilities. In 1963, the family relocated to California to support Richard's growing music career. While attending high school there, Karen discovered a love for drumming. She was inspired by Ringo Starr, the drummer of the Beatles. She joined her brother Richard and friend Wes Jacobs to form the Richard Carpenter Trio in 1965. After Jacobs left, they formed the band Spectrum. However, Spectrum disbanded, leading Richard and Karen to continue as a duo. Their demo tapes caught the attention of Herb Alpert, the co-founder of A&M Records. They were signed to the record label in early 1969. Karen began as both drummer and co-lead singer, performing vocals from behind the drums. As A&M recognized the unique quality of her voice, they encouraged her to stop playing the drums and focus more on singing instead. By the early 1970s, Karen was the star, belting out hits like Rainy Days and Mondays to millions of fans. They sold countless records, becoming a global sensation. Despite achieving great success, Karen Carpenter longed for her mother's affection. Sadly, it appeared that her brother Richard received most of it, leaving her feeling neglected. Karen's journey of losing weight started after high school, when she began the Stillman water diet. While she was far from being overweight, she was what many would consider at that time a chubby teenager. She was teased about her weight by Richard and her mother. Even though Karen had a healthy weight of 140 pounds for her height of 5 feet 4 inches, her mom took her to the doctor about her weight when she was 17 years old. She was then introduced to the Stillman water diet, which was popular in the 1960s. This diet focused on protein and limited carbs, which included vitamin supplements and drinking plenty of water. Karen lost 25 pounds in 6 months, but it came at a cost. She started obsessing over food and calories, seeing it as the enemy. This marked the beginning of Karen's unhealthy relationship with food and self-image. Randy Schmidt, the author of the best-selling book Little Girl Blue: The Life of Karen Carpenter, points to Karen and Richard's perfectionist mother as a key factor. Their mother's extreme cleanliness and desire for perfection rubbed off on them, pushing them to strive for unattainable goals. In 1973, while performing on the Bob Hope Show, Karen saw photos of herself in a gold outfit. She detested the photo, feeling that her outfit made her look overweight. This prompted her to take extreme steps towards weight loss. She hired a personal trainer who suggested a low-calorie, high-carb diet. However, instead of losing weight, she gained muscle. Discouraged, she fired the trainer and embarked on a self-directed, ultimately unhealthy weight loss journey. Richard noticed Karen's dieting and praised her for her weight loss progress. However, Karen expressed discontent, indicating her desire to become even thinner. This concerned Richard as he realized for the first time that her sister's diet might be too extreme. Friends and family also noticed significant changes in Karen's eating habits despite her attempts to hide them. Karen lost considerable weight after her extreme dieting. Her new slim figure horrified her manager, Sherwin Bash. When she appeared on stage, the audience were shocked by her gaunt appearance. Fans thought she might have a serious illness, and critics even commented that she looked terribly thin. Despite all this, Karen stayed silent about her struggles and simply claimed she was tired. Nobody really knew nor understood why she wasn't eating. The concept of anorexia was not well understood during this era, and many believed it could be resolved simply by eating. Karen was too much pressured because the Carpenters were not only popular musically, but also seen as role models for American youth. President Nixon even praised them as young America at its best. By 1975, Karen's weight loss became a serious problem. The Carpenters were forced to cancel their Europe and Japan tours after Karen collapsed on stage during their concert in Las Vegas. She was brought to hospital due to too much exhaustion from non-stop touring and years of extreme dieting. This pattern of dramatic weight loss, hospitalization, and repeat collapses sadly continued until her death. The Carpenters performed their last live concert on December 3, 1978. During the Carpenters' hiatus in 1979, Karen decided to release a solo album. However, it received a negative response from Richard and A&M executives in early 1980, leading to the cancellation of plans for a follow-up. Karen had invested a large amount of her own money into the album, but the record label rejected it, which deeply devastated her. A small portion of the solo album was released in 1989, and in 1996, the complete album titled Karen Carpenter was officially released. Despite Karen's declining health, she and Richard continued to create music, releasing their final album, Made in America, in 1981, which achieved moderate success. They promoted the album and appeared on TV shows, but Karen's extremely thin appearance raised concerns about her health. The last song they recorded was Now, in 1982. Her last performance on stage was at a small Christmas Carol event in December 1982, while her final public appearance was at a Grammy Award anniversary event in January 1983. She passed away just a month later, shortly after finalizing her divorce and discussing plans for a new Carpenters album with her brother Richard, whom Karen would see for the last time on February 1, 1983. Meanwhile, Karen didn't prioritize marriage or relationships due to her demanding career. But once she did, she approached it with enthusiasm, dating figures like Mike Curb, Tony Danza, and Steve Martin. However, none of these relationships lasted, making her refocus on work, a choice with tragic consequences. During a BBC interview while on the European leg of their tour, the interviewer surprised Karen with a direct question about her weight loss, even mentioning the term anorexia nervosa, a topic rarely discussed then. This incident deeply impacted Karen. However, it only served as a prelude to further personal distress. In 1980, she met real estate developer Thomas James Burris, a divorced man and 9 years older than her. Their relationship progressed quickly because after just 2 months, Burris proposed to Karen. She was eager to get married because she was excited to start her own family. The swift announcement of their wedding led to speculation that Karen must be pregnant. However, the truth was much darker. Just days before the wedding rehearsal dinner, Burris confessed that he had undergone a vasectomy before meeting Karen, shattering her dreams of having children. Heartbroken and seeking guidance, she turned to her mother Agnes for advice on whether to call off the wedding. Unfortunately, Agnes urged her to proceed, saying it was too late to back out. Reluctantly, Karen went through with the wedding, but her marriage to Burris quickly spiraled downward. Burris was only interested in money and constantly demanded expensive things. He only married Karen for her fame and wealth. However, the most harrowing aspect of their relationship was Burris's abusive behavior. He was cruel and mean to her, often losing his temper. Yet, through it all, Karen still clung to the hope of starting a family. She learned that a vasectomy could be reversed through surgery, but Burris vehemently rejected the idea, stating that he would never have children with her because she was extremely thin. Karen filed for divorce from him in October 1982 while she was in Lenox Hill Hospital. Feeling depleted and with nothing more to give, Karen reached her breaking point. She finally sought professional help in 1982 and approached Stephen Levenkron, a psychotherapist and expert in anorexia treatment. Karen felt like she was being controlled by anorexia, which made her believe that food was her enemy. She couldn't stop thinking about food and ways to avoid eating. She described it as feeling haunted. She realized she needed someone strong to help her fight anorexia, someone who could see through her denials and attempts to hide her illness. Stephen Levenkron, who had 12 years of experience, reassured Karen of his determination to develop effective treatment for this mysterious disease. She told him that in addition to taking excessive amounts of laxatives, she also was taking thyroid medication to boost her metabolism, despite having a normal thyroid. This shocked Levenkron. The misuse of thyroid medication could lead to severe health complications such as coma, seizures, and heart attacks. Recognizing that Karen had not been accustomed to receiving the care and support she needed, Levenkron arranged a therapy session for the Carpenters. As part of the therapy, each family member was encouraged to express their love for Karen. Unfortunately, Karen's mother failed to even utter those words to her own daughter. Levenkron's treatment for Karen was a source of frustration for her close friend, Ramon, as she showed no signs of improvement. By the autumn of 1982, Karen's health was rapidly deteriorating, and on September 20th, she was admitted to Lenox Hill, a hospital that specializes in intensive care. At this point, she weighed a mere 77 pounds and was severely dehydrated, with a dangerously low blood potassium level of 1.8. A potassium level below 2.5 is life-threatening, as it affects the proper functioning of the heart's muscle cells. Also, Karen's digestive system was so damaged that artificial feeding was required. Despite her resistance to gaining weight, Karen finally allowed herself to receive the necessary care at the hospital. Over the course of several weeks, she gained 20 pounds, first through IV nutrition and then by eating small meals. This approach proved beneficial for Karen's recovery. On November 8th, she was discharged from the hospital and returned to her hotel with a personal nurse. However, after 2 weeks, she began to feel bored and want to go home to Los Angeles. Convinced that she was cured, Karen called her parents to bring her back home. Her final therapy session with Levenkron took place on November 16th, where he cautioned her about ending treatment prematurely and emphasized that it would take at least 3 years for a full recovery. Despite his concerns, Karen brushed them off and assured him that she would stay in touch over the phone. Back in Los Angeles, everything appeared to be going well. Karen was enjoying her meals, pursuing her music career, and socializing. Yet tragedy lurked. On the morning of February 4th, 1983, Karen woke up and went to the kitchen to make coffee. She then went back upstairs to get dressed. When the coffee was ready, her mom called her upstairs, but she didn't answer. Agnes called again from downstairs, but still got no response. When she went into Karen's room, she found her lying motionless on the floor of the closet. Karen was dead. When paramedics arrived, they found her weakened heart struggling to beat once every 10 seconds. When they reached the hospital, she was already in full cardiac arrest. Shockingly, her blood sugar levels were found to be 10 times higher than normal. Her death was initially a mystery, but the heartbreaking truth emerged in the autopsy. Despite discarding laxatives, Karen had turned to a more perilous method of weight control, ipecac syrup, a substance used to induce vomiting in cases of poisoning or overdose. It had slowly damaged her heart due to excessive use. The reasons behind Karen Carpenter's tragic battle with anorexia are complex. While many believe that fame and public scrutiny played a role, those who were close to the Carpenter family suggest that the root of Karen's struggles stemmed from her overbearing and perfectionist mother, who clearly favored her brother Richard. According to Randy Schmidt, one of Karen's closest friends revealed that there was a void in her heart where a mother's love should have been, and this void couldn't be filled by the love of friends or even the adoration of millions of fans worldwide. This sense of emptiness led Karen to a desire to diminish herself, to shrink and fade away. Karen's tragic passing served as a wake-up call, prompting conversations about body image, mental health, and the importance of seeking help. Her legacy extends beyond her music, as her family established the Karen A. Carpenter Memorial Foundation to support anorexia research, ensuring that her impact on the world continues to make a difference in the lives of others.